pray. I'd like us to begin by looking at two scriptures. I'm glad I have 3 slots to share with you, so not to hurry at all. I'll be as slow as possible. I understand I have 1 hour, and I've spent some minutes from my 1 hour. I would love to keep to time so that we don't stay too long here tonight. In Malachi chapter 2, verse 15, the Bible says, "And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one, that he might seek a godly seed." Now, what struck me about this verse is that the Hebrew word rendered godly is actually the word Elohim. I don't know why the translators were afraid to say something like that he might seek a God-like seed. So they use the word godly. So you must understand that being godly is an offshoot of God's nature and God's characteristics. So when we are talking about raising generation, we're not just looking at men who are pious in outlook, who have a form or an appearance. We are looking at people whose very nature proceeds from the very nature of God. Now, there is nothing about a godly man or a godly family or a godly generation. Now, again, in the book of Psalms, Psalm 22, verse 30, the Bible says, "A seed shall serve him, it shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation." One seed will serve him, but what the Lord will receive is the labor of a generation. Now, there are dimensions to this that we'll look into as time goes on. But let me tell us a story. In the year 1900, that became ministers, vice chancellors. At least 65 were college professors, 60 were physicians, 86 were state senators, 3 were state governors, 3 were U.S. congressmen, 1 was the controller of the U.S. Treasury, and 1 became the vice president of the United States. The descendants of a godly man. Now, the challenge of our generation of the second phase is that the environment has become so polluted and so bastardized that except you choose to see from the lens and the prism of the scriptures, and you must be intentional about this. You see, because whether you like it or not, the day God made man with a face that resembles what man looks at. I don't know why God did it, but I found out that just look at yourself. You begin to admire and you begin to, become more of what you engage your time focusing upon. It appears as if by the making of Adam was designed that the more he looked at God, the more he became like God. The environment within which we live strives and labors every day to make us see things from an unbiblical perspective. Listen, you must be deliberate and intentional in what you imbibe. Sir, a few years back, the Lord taught me a principle. He said, "Man your gate." Taught me that the human head, face the brethren, sir, that the human head is a command center of man's natural existence. But there are 4 gates on this head. There is the eye gate, sorry, sir. There is the ear gate, there is the nose gate, and there is the mouth gate. Now, 2 of these gates, the 2 upper gates, minister to the upper level of man, the soul of man. Everything you learn by hearing and by sight. So we talk about audio-visual. The lower gates serve the body, the nose, and the mouth. So you breathe in air, and you take in food and water. So Jesus said, what enters to your mouth is not what defiles you. You remember he said that. So food and water do not delist a person from the file of God. That's the meaning of defile. Delisted from God's file. Now, your eye gate and your ear gate are central to your survival. So you need to be conscious and intentional. We have surrendered those entrances to the world system. Very few of us, sir, are intentional about the movies we watch. very few are also intentional about the music they listen to. Let me tell you, every musician is a bully. Musicians sing that you will like their. The Bible says, darkness shall cover the earth, gross darkness the people. So that covering has not been stopped though. Lucifer is still a covering till tomorrow. And don't forget that Lucifer actually manifests as a form of light, a form of knowledge, and a form of truth. But except you have capacity for discernment, you are likely to agree with him and believe him and follow him and even follow his principles. That is why you find Christians learning secular music styles and trying to sing the same in the church. It is a perversion. But more than the foolishness of the brothers singing, secular songs on the altar, it is a subliminal ministration addressed to your soul. Are you aware that in deep worship, your soul sheds tears? Were you flogged? So what is causing it? Why does music speak so much to your soul? Why? So when you open, every time you come into church, like where we are right now, and you are in deep worship. Now people may like musical concerts. Not very many people like deep worship. And you are in worship and you're on your face, on your knees, and you are shedding tears. Work is being done in your soul. Are you aware? You get up from such experiences feeling liberated, feeling strengthened. Am I correct? Now, it's the same when you hear secular music. The sad part is that one enters like a quiet stream. It doesn't shake anything. It just finds a place. And like a snake coiling up into one little hole in your house, it enters quietly and builds an empire for itself. Now, secular music, most of the times, has an undertone message beneath what you are hearing. But you won't hear it by the hearing of the ears. Why are you laughing? You don't know what Shaka is. You do.